I'm Allison for Leading Edge Dog Show Academy, and today, as part of our equipment series, we're going to go over flying with your pet and what equipment, what expectations for that equipment there are out there. So I'm going to say, first of all, flying with our animals is getting very, very difficult. So if you're out there and you work for an airline or you own an airline or whatever, we love you, and we really, really need airlines to continue to let us take our dogs as excess baggage whenever possible and continue to ship them cargo, etc. We love airlines, and part of the reason we're doing this tutorial is to help the customer of airlines, so our students, our fans, all dog lovers, cat lovers out there, because a lot of this could also apply to your cat, to just help you get your dogs around. We don't want you to be turned away at the airport. We don't want you to be very, very upset with airport personnel, and then airport personnel get upset back, and then they end up hating all dogs and dogs that travel. And we understand both sides of it, right? You get to the airline and you are really, really stressed. Travel is stressful. Traveling with your pet is more stressful. Traveling with your pet on an airline, super stressful, right? We all know the ins and outs of that. So hopefully this is going to help you. So first of all, unless you're flying in cabin, which we're going to get to, you are flying your dog and your dog is getting checked in the hold as excess baggage, and or your dog is flying cargo, it is going to need to be in a hard-sided kennel, right? The most popular one, and probably the one that's the most efficient weight-wise, is to get a very kennel and make sure it is the right size. The right size means that when your dog is standing in the kennel, that the head does not touch the top of the kennel, right? So if you're not sure what size that is, go to PetSmart, grab your kennel, stand your dog beside it. Make sure that standing or sitting, and a lot of airlines, especially in cargo, that means even their cropped ears cannot touch the top of the kennel. Now, I didn't make up this rule. I'm just trying to help you make sure that you understand what is expected of you, right? So then most of the airline regulations go somewhat like this, right? They need to be in a hard-sided kennel that is the right size for your pet. And every hole that we see here, so there's one here, not this larger hole, here, 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 must be fastened with a metal fastener, right? And this is a change. There was a time not that long ago where you could have zip ties in all or some of the holes in the crate, but now most airline regulations say that each and every one of the holes has to have a metal fastener in it. Now, the metal fastener should go up from the bottom with this plastic bolt or whatever bolt it is on the top. One of the reasons for that is that then you can tell when the bolt is out of it, right? Because if the bolt is the other way with the head here, you can't tell by looking down at it that the bolt on the bottom is missing. So big tip, right? So every single hole needs to be with a metal fastener. Okay, then you need to have absorbent material. This is airline needing you to have this in the bottom of the crate. That's fairly easy because most of us want our pet to be comfortable, and you're going to have some kind of crate pad or something in there that fits the crate, keeps your pet nice and cozy while it's in there. Now, we have talked about dogs that eat their bedding, right? You definitely don't want to put your dog in a crate with bedding that's going to eat and it's going to get into distress on the plane. So absorbent material would also include newspaper, right? So if you have one of those pets that cannot, well, it's going to eat its bedding, which they're out there, just a very, very thick layer of newspaper in your kennel is also perfectly fine. It says absorbent material, okay? Then most airlines are going to want 2 dishes that are secured to the front of the kennel so that the dog can be fed and or watered if it's stopped somewhere in transit. So make no mistake, this is not going to work, right? You can't just take your dog dish and put it in there. You're going to want to have either a bucket with a clip, a bucket with a hook. I personally, for my smaller dogs, I am going to buy like parrot dishes because they fit really nicely in the front of these kennels. Again, 5 years ago, they used to provide little plastic cups that fit in the front of these fairy kennels, and they just don't do that anymore. So something to be aware of, right? So 2 cups fastened to the front of the kennel is required by the airline, okay? I like to put my dog's name on the front of the kennel. I like to make it look cute, but at the airport, you're going to be given something to fill out, you know, with your flight information, as well as your dog's breed, the last time it was fed, the last time it was watered, whether you gave it a tranquilizer or not, as well as the dog's name, your phone number, all of those good things. Now, once all of that is done at the airline, remember, you're showing up 3 hours before your flight time. So if, you know, you're flying domestically and you need to be at the airport 2 hours early, or you're flying internationally, you need to be at the airport 3 hours early. If you're flying with a pet, you need to be there 3 hours early. That's just how it works. And they're getting very, very strict about this because it takes a lot of time to get the dogs checked in, especially if you have TSA involved, right? Then a lot of our crates now have these little holes on the top. So once the airline has checked over the crate, they've seen that everything's perfect and you've put your dog in the crate, you are most likely going to be given zip ties that you are going to use to zip tie the door shut. And so there's typically 4, and you're just going to zip tie it up. Typically the airline is going to provide you with these zip ties. I've never had an airline not provide them and require them, but I still usually have a couple in the bottom of my bag just in case, because I want to, you know, make sure I'm making things as easy as possible for the airline. I might also use them if I'm making sure that the buckets are firmly attached to the front of the crate. So those are some things that you can remember. So for those of you who have not flown with your dog before, or you don't typically use a hard-sided kennel, it is really, really important that the first time that your pet sees the hard-sided kennel is not at the airport. And I can't stress this enough. I fly with my dogs very, very often to different events all around the world, and my dogs typically are not stressed about going to the airport. Why is that? Because my dogs are used to being in their kennel. They like their kennel, right? They've been fed in it. And the problem that I see with a lot of people, you know, maybe they're moving, maybe they're going on an extended holiday, but the first time that their dog has ever been in a kennel is at the dog show or at the airport, and then their dogs are really, really stressed. They're not stressed about flying. They're stressed because they've never been put in a kennel before. So if you are, you know, I personally am a big proponent of your dog should be crate trained, because I just think it's a great thing, even if you don't use it on a regular basis at home. But if you are thinking of flying with your dog, please do your dog a favor. Buy the kennel early, start getting them used to it. You know, if they hang out with you in your office, have the crate open in the office, feed them in it, give them treats in it. You don't want them being stressed about being in the kennel, right? That is the thing that can really, really stress them out. So that's what I'm going to ask. So don't forget metal hardware, every single hole that needs a metal fastener, and absorbent material on the top of the crate, a food dish and a water dish attached, used typically to the front of the crate, and you should be good to go. So I hope that this helps you get prepared for the next time you need to travel, or the first time you need to travel with your pet, right? So even if you flew with your pet, especially pre-COVID, I personally have found that the airlines are a little bit stricter out there with the rules and regulations regarding flying with your pet. I do see it having changed since the COVID lockdown. And just remember, we love airlines. We need them to fly with our pets, right? We need them to fly with our pets just as family members, but also to go to certain competitions, or even getting your dog bred. Sometimes you need to fly your dog somewhere around the world in order to get the proper genealogy for your breeding. So airlines, we love you. And we're just hoping that this video helps people arrive at the airport a little bit more prepared, or as prepared as they can possibly be, not only for the airline, but for the comfort and safety of their pet. So I hope that helps. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Please leave us a comment below, let us know what you thought, and as well, if you have any ideas for future content that you'd like to see, you can put them down there as well. You can head over to leadingedgedogshow.com, where you can find our free, premium, and subscription content, and we'd love to have you join us there. As well, Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. That way you never miss another free video tutorial. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.